the General Post Office in Dublin on this St. Patrick's Day, with Mr. Erskine Childers, the Minister for Transport, among the 500 dignitaries on the reviewing stand to watch the big parade go by. And this year it is one of the biggest, noisiest and gayest parades ever, because there are no less than 23 bands. As you can see, it's a pretty gloomy day here, despite the colour of the parade. And earlier this morning, the streets were practically deserted, except for people going to early Mass, especially in the suburbs. The streets were deserted, except for the people going to Mass with sprigs of shamrock in the lapel. As we watch here now, in fact, President De Valera and Mrs. De Valera, along with Mr. Lamass, the Taoiseach, are at Solemn High Mass in the Pro Cathedral in Dublin, along with other dignitaries of church and state. I've just been talking to New York, and they tell me that for their St. Patrick's Day parade, they have a beautiful sunny morning. Perfect weather, they say. And of course, there are celebrations in many other capitals throughout the world. Celebrations particularly in London, where Mr. Harold Wilson is speaking tonight at the dinner given by the Irish Club. Now, to hear now from London, over to Joe Fahy.
The celebration of Ireland's National Feast Day in London began with solemn pontifical high mass in Westminster Cathedral this morning, at which His Eminence Cardinal Heenan presided. Cardinal Heenan, who last night paid such glowing tribute to the Irish when he blessed the shamrock at St. Patrick's Church in Soho Square. The Mass was attended by the Irish Ambassador, Mr. John Malloy, who was received by a Guard of Honour of Old IRA and Cumann na mBan in London. The Minister for Justice, Mr. Lenihan, and the Minister for Agriculture, Mr. Fahy, arrived in London this morning. Mr. Fahy is representing the government at the Irish Club banquet in the Hilton Hotel tonight, at which the British Prime Minister, Mr. Harold Wilson, is to be the principal guest. Mr. Lenihan is at the National University banquet in the Grosvenor House Hotel. Altogether, there will be almost 2,000 Irish people attending these functions, and there are many other Irish social fixtures arranged for London tonight. Ireland Week, which consists mainly of a display of Irish goods in leading London stores, has attracted considerable interest here. There's plenty of green, no shortage of shamrock, and generally speaking, indeed, any Irishman in London feels 10 feet tall on this St. Patrick's Day. From outside Westminster Cathedral, in a dull, overcast London, over now to Eoin Leeson in Cork.
Well, the rain is beginning to ease off here in Cork, just as a very charming, high-stepping band of young girls, for whom one might feel a little bit of pity if they didn't look so wonderful and attractive, is coming towards us. This has undoubtedly been the most impressive parade that I have seen in Cork for many a long day, and it began, oddly enough, in a place called Alfred Street, but it very quickly moved on to McCurtain Street and so to Patrick Street and down here to the Grand Parade, where we are seeing it assembling behind the grandstand on which the Minister is at the moment taking the salute. And from Cork, over now to Cecil Deeney in Belfast.
Here in Belfast, as you can see from the heavy mid-morning traffic swirling past the City Hall, it is far from being a quiet St. Patrick's Day. But it never is, because in the north the day is not a public holiday, although there have been demands in Parliament down the years to declare it one. This year, however, the only reference to the feast day in Parliament was a plea by a Nationalist MP to parole prisoners in Belfast jail for the day. No, everybody is working in Belfast today, except bank officials, civil servants and school teachers. If a holiday spirit can be detected in Belfast on the 17th of March, it is created by Dublin people who pour in by special trains for the day for a shopping spree. This year, however, the Dublin accent is less noticeable in Royal Avenue and other shopping centres. No, the special trains are running, but the Dublin people are just not here in the same numbers. The reason for this is that the Belfast half-holiday has coincided with the feast day this year. In fact, some of the big stores, which have a 5-day week, now close all day on Wednesdays.
Although it is a grey day here in Limerick, with a light drizzle turning to rain, thousands of people have turned out along O'Connell Street to watch the annual parade. Earlier in the morning, the Bishop of Limerick, Most Reverend Dr. Murphy, presided at Mass at the barracks, and shamrock was distributed to the troops. And now the parade is coming towards us, led by a colour party of the Old IRA, Knights of Malta, Red Cross, and followed by members of the corporation in their crimson robes, and then the Old IRA veterans. This year there's an unusually big number of Boy Scouts here. Boy Scouts drawn from all parts of the city and county. St. John's Band just passed by, and the beginning of the procession has just turned into William Street. And as yet, the end of the industrial parade hasn't left Sarsfield Barracks. And as Limerick honours the national apostle, we now hand over to Anne Binchy in Galway.
The weather cleared here in Galway in time for the start of the parade, which is just about to reach Eyre Square and the reviewing platform. Here comes the colour party of the Galway Artillery FCA, marching to the music of the Band of the Western Command. Threatening skies overhead. The Minister for Defence, Mr. Bartley, is taking the salute on the platform. This is his last public appearance as Minister for Defence, as he is retiring from politics before the election. Also on the platform are the Mayor of Galway, Mr. Patrick Flaherty, the Bishop of Galway, Most Reverend Dr. Brown, civic dignitaries in their robes, Colonel H. Byrne, OC Western Command, and Colonel P. Kearns, OC 5th Brigade. And from Galway over now to Mike Burns in Downpatrick.
As Irishmen and women all over the world today pay their own particular tributes to St. Patrick, groups of visitors from Ireland, from the United States, from Australia, from England, visited this quiet spot in the grounds of Downpatrick Cathedral, the spot where the bones and the relics of our patron saint lie entombed. And here on the 30-ton slab of Mourne granite which covers the grave lies a lone wreath to the saint's memory. It's of daffodils, tulips, heather and fern, and was sent by the American Sons of Erin. This morning there were 4 Holy Communion services in the tiny memorial church at Saul, where St. Patrick founded his first church in 432. The preacher at this service was the Bishop of London, the Right Reverend Robert Wright.